Welcome back, everybody. That was a delayed. Hey, I didn't know my computer is being awesomely fast again. So I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't die during this, but we'll see. I mean, I'm just probably going to edit that beginning part anyway. So this first 20 seconds makes no sense to you anyway, but oh well. So here we are. We're coming at you on a Sunday for us. I think this is Thursday's episode for everybody else. But so obviously, you know, if you've been following the last couple of days, we got to get ahead. Bob's traveling. Is it 2 weeks? I have a conference to go to in 2 weeks on Tuesday, or a week from this Tuesday or something. I don't know. So we got some shit going on. We gotta do a bunch ahead. So it might seem a little, what's the word? Anachronistic. I think it's anachronistic. That means out of chronological order. But today is, speaking of time, daylight savings time. So we turned daylight savings on today, I believe, which means we move the clocks forward, right? Because it's springtime. That's what we do. We lost an hour of sleep last night. You can heckle all of the people, all the dum-dums that think that when you turn the clocks forward, you lose an hour of sleep every night for the next 6 months before we change them back. Or maybe you're one of those dum-dums if you're listening to this show. In that case, you don't have to say anything. You can keep it silent, keep it to yourself, but know that that's not how this works. It's only one night. It's only the night that you change the clocks, that you either gain the hour of sleep or lose the hour of sleep. It is not the entire 6 month long period. But alas, I believe we don't have to deal with this bullshit anymore, because I believe that we turned the clocks forward an hour this morning at like 2 a.m. or whatever. And I'm pretty sure we never changed them ever again.
Is that true?
Until, you know, inevitably, like 7 years from now, people get pissed off. They're like, oh, this thing doesn't work. We need to go back to the old way. And they vote to change it back again. And we do it again. Because that actually did happen in the 60s or the 70s. I think they did the opposite. They abolished daylight savings time. And then like 2 years later, they brought it back. What we did now is we adopted daylight savings time as permanent time. So now basically it's going to be lighter later always and darker earlier always.
I don't know if that's official.
No, I thought it was.
I'm trying to find out on the fly.
Because so Sagar and Jetty, shout out to him from Breaking Points with Sagar and Crystal. He has been bitching about this for the last like 2 weeks, about how it's going to be awful in the wintertime and everyone's going to hate that the sun's not going to come up until 8 o'clock. And that, you know, because he's on this trope of, oh, I hope everyone enjoys it being an hour late, or it being brighter an hour later so you can drink after work. And like everyone on Twitter is like roasting him, being like, clearly you don't have kids. And it's like, it has nothing to do with like going out to drink later. It's way fucking better to have it be light later. Also in the wintertime at 6 a.m. in January in the Northeast, I don't want to fucking be outside anyway. So I don't care.
It's not light at 6 a.m.
Yeah, or 7 a.m. Again, I don't care.
But that's the thing. People
doesn't
think,
matter.
I think people think it's late at 6 a.m., but are never up at 6 a.m.
Yeah, regardless. In the Northeast in January, it's fucking cold. I don't give a shit if the sun's up or not. Whether the sun comes up at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. It doesn't matter, because it's still going to be 37 degrees and shitty.
All right, so I'm on time.com.
Yep.
An article from
time.com. They're known conspiracy theorists.
March 10th, 2023. Earlier this month, Marco Rubio reintroduced legislation that would make daylight saving time permanent, proposing an end to the biannual clock change that disrupts the lives of millions of Americans. Doesn't disrupt my life. I just fucking would prefer it be darker later.
Yeah.
Like, what the anyway. So the Sunshine Protection Act passed unanimously in the Senate last year, but the bill stalled in the House. Rubio reintroduced the bill in the Senate on March 2nd to try to end what he called an antiquated practice. So I don't believe it's official.
Okay. Well, I think they're moving towards it.
Well, the Senate passed it already.
Yeah. So I wonder, why is Sawgrass bitching about this then? Which, to be fair, right? Like I would say I like about 90 to 95% of the things that he says. I would probably agree with him on stuff, but like this one in particular, like, dude, this is the hill you're going to die on, like daylight savings time. Also, he's like 27 or something. Like he's still pretty young. And it's like, dude, you're bitching about this in the wrong way.
I just don't understand that what he does at 6:30 in the morning that he can't do until 7:30 in the morning for like a month.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too, it's funny because I read the Twitter comments on that post, obviously, because I like doing that. And people one person tweeted at him and goes, sounds like you need to move to Florida, which for anyone that doesn't know, we've done this before too on the show. It's the lines of latitude. So the further south you go, the closer to the equator you are, this basically like doesn't matter because you're always going to have 12 hours of sun and 12 hours of dark, right? Like if you're standing on the equator, the actual line, the equator, you get 12 hours of sun, 12 hours of dark, 365 days a year. The further away from the equator you go, so the further north and the further south, that's when you get the disparity. So if you live in the Northeast, in the summertime, you might get, whatever, 14 to 15 hours of sun and then 9 or 10 hours of dark. And then it flips in the wintertime. You get 9 or 10 hours of light and then 14 or 15 hours of dark. Like that's why, like in Alaska, for like a month and a half, it's dark for a month and a half straight. And then from like the whole month of June, the sun never sets. Like the further you go away from the equator, the more disparity you get, right? So that's when you run into this bullshit. So if you live in a place like Florida, especially southern Florida, and you're so close to the equator, it literally doesn't fucking matter because you're going to get 12 hours of sun and 12 hours of dark. Like the swings that we get up here in the Northeast, like light wise, isn't going to happen because it doesn't matter. Right. So it's like,
that sounds nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. The weather's always nicer. You get consistent sunlight. So, I mean, obviously in the summertime, there's something to be said, right, in the Northeast that it doesn't get dark until 9 o'clock. Whereas in Florida, it gets dark at probably 7:30 still, or 8, you know what I mean? Like whatever the normal time that it always gets dark in Florida, that's when it gets dark. Like it's always 7:30, or if it's always 8 o'clock, I don't know what it is, but like, that's it. Like, that's what time the sun sets all fucking year round. But like I said, obviously up here in the summertime, it stays light until 9 o'clock. But the trade-off is, in the wintertime, it gets dark at fucking 3 o'clock. So, but now we don't have to deal with, well, potentially, if they can pass this, they have 6 months to pass it.
Yeah, you figure it's got to be done by November.
Yeah. So then it would always be lighter later. So again, summertime, things don't change. Sun rises at 6:30, sets at 9 o'clock. The wintertime, the sun would rise at like 8 o'clock and set at 4:30 instead of 3:30, instead of 6 o'clock to 3:30. So I am all on, especially someone who is a morning person. Like, I consider myself a morning person. I'm up early all the time. We've talked about this before. It doesn't matter what time I go to bed. If I go to bed at 9, 10:30, 1 o'clock, I'm up somewhere between 6 and 7. More precisely, probably somewhere around 6:30, give or take. Like, I'm just a morning person. I get up, I'm most productive in the morning. I get most things done. Like, I'd like to do things in the morning, and then at the end of the day, I like to just sit and do nothing. I being all of that being said and being known, I still prefer it being lighter later.
Dude, it's like you just look outside I looked outside today at almost 6, and I'm like, this is kind of nice.
Yeah. It's pretty cool, right?
Again, it's like, I don't know what people are so dependent on morning sunlight that like are actually for keeping standard time. Like, what are you doing in the morning that you need sunlight? Doesn't make any fucking sense. And we're in Massachusetts, so it's like you can't be a farmer in Massachusetts in the winter. That doesn't work.
Right.
So what are you doing in the morning that you need this light and you don't want it in the afternoon? I don't get it.
Yeah. Like, people are gonna, like, I've seen people like cite research that says like the benefits of getting sunlight in through your like physical into your body, like your retinas and your corneas or whatever, like within the first 45 minutes of being awake, like promotes like vitamin D and all this other shit that it does. But it's like, okay, well, I would counterpoint that by saying, well, I could build two counterpoints to that. The first one, I'll go with what you just said. You don't get that. Most people don't get that because if they wake up in the morning in the winter, they're going right to work, right? So the only sunlight, or the only time they would get sunlight anyway, would be in the car on the way to work. Like, if that, like, people go to work and they go to work, like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's not like one of those like, oh, well, I'll get up at 5:15 instead of 5:30 so I can get sunlight in my eyeballs. No, because the sun still doesn't rise until 6:45. So it's like, so that number one, that argument is bullshit in the wintertime. Number two, living in the Northeast in the wintertime, the sun is not strong enough to provide any sort of fucking shit that you need, right? Whether it's vitamin D or just UV light, which helps you regulate the skin and all kinds of shit like that. Like, not strong enough. Doesn't happen. You need to be outside in the sun like literally all day. And at that point, if it's December and January, you're gonna fucking freeze to death. So
that's the other thing. You can't go out wearing right, weather appropriate clothing, right, and get sunlight.
In the Northeast, again, that's a retarded argument. I just gave you two counterpoints as to why it's inaccurate. Now, does the science state that if you receive sunlight into your eyeballs or retinas, whatever the fuck it is, within the first 45 minutes, it produces all of these great effects? Yeah, that's I'm sure 100% it does. And I know it does because I follow Andrew Huberman and he talks about it a lot. But it's like, you need to take the other factors into account, right? Like, yes, that is a fact. However, the two counterpoints I just gave you almost make it moot for living in the Northeast. Now, again, that's just us that live up here. Maybe someone that lives in Georgia or Texas or Florida or a lower latitude.
If you can wake up shorts and a t-shirt and go for a walk at 6 whatever in the morning, that's different.
Exactly. Yeah, 1000%. Sure, go ahead, do it. Like, if the coldest it gets is like 50 degrees, right, and you can still go outside in shorts and a t-shirt and go for a walk, like you said, or walk your dog, like that's fine. Like, you'll be okay. But again, that doesn't fly up here where we live. I don't give a fuck about anybody else where they live because I only live where I live. So it's like, I just don't understand why people are so vehemently against it.
Couldn't tell you, man. Could not tell you.
It's like you're just mad because you want to be mad. It is literally old man yelling at a cloud.
Yeah, and I've also heard like, oh well, you know, it's nice when there's light on the morning commute. I'm like, whose morning commute?
Yeah.
Because I know I'm up early, but I see all the cars coming up 24 North. There's a shitload of them every morning, same time as me. Ain't no fucking sunlight for them.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's I mean, we've done this before in an episode where someone was talking about like child abductions in the morning in the dark, and
Yeah.
I made the joke about like, oh yeah, all the child kidnappers, the sun rises, they're like vampires.
Yeah, they're
The sun
vampires.
rises, and they're like, oh shit, we have to go home. We can't abduct any more children. The sun's up. Like the sun being up or not is not going to deter a child and someone who's going to abduct a child. So, yeah, anyone that's against it is just dumb, basically, or just doesn't understand it, or just wants to be mad at something. Which, hey, I can totally get down with that. There have been plenty of things that I've bitched about just to bitch about. So, if that's your angle, I'll support you. I'll tell you you're wrong and you're dumb, but I'll at least support your ability to do it. So,
I might not.
Yeah, why not?
Just as a quick aside, you know how you sent me the thing from the Babylon Bee where it was like the guy who like wears the mask in his car and alone.
Oh
Whatever.
yeah.
We took Leo for a walk around the pond today. Dude wearing a mask, carrying a fishing rod. The fish have COVID now.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it is hilarious. Anyone that doesn't follow the Babylon Bee, I highly recommend that you do. They posted a video on Instagram a couple days ago now, maybe Friday, Thursday, Friday. Although when this comes out, it would be last week, but hilarious video of a guy, like a social justice warrior guy, saying he does all the right things, wearing his mask, and didn't he wear gloves too?
At like a drive-through window.
Yeah. It was pretty funny. All right. So we did our daylight savings shtick. Now the real reason you came. This is our first episode since mobile sports betting in Massachusetts has gone live. And if I needed to summarize the last 3 days in one word, I would say whirlwind.
Yeah, it's been a little chaotic.
Yeah. Yep. It's been a lot. So I talked before before this episode and before it went live that I was running with FanDuel, DraftKings, and BetMGM. I had already previously had a DraftKings and a FanDuel, and I was a new customer to BetMGM. And those are still the only three that I have. That's what I'm running with for now. Again, Barstool, like to your point that you said before, if the number's that much better, I'll get in the car and drive the 10 minutes to Plain Ridge and make the bet. Yeah, I mean, like I don't need another app on my phone to deposit money into, so all that being said, keep an eye out. We might have a new sponsor on the podcast soon. So I'll tease that. So maybe in the next episode I'll have something for you guys, but we'll see. Stay tuned. In the meantime, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube. Give us a like, rate, and review wherever you're at, whether it's YouTube, audio only, all that shit. Tell everybody you know about the show. That'd be much appreciated. But so what's your opening take on the mobile game here in Mass? The opening couple days.
Yeah, I'm actually just excited for like the free bets and the promos and all that stuff to kind of be over.
Whoa. You mean bonus bets? We don't get free bets in this state.
Yeah, I'm not an operator, so I'm not subject to what the MGC has to say. And mostly like I know it's gonna stop, but like so like the free bets are fine, but like the promos, the insurance bets, the bonus bet, like it's just fucking too much right now.
It's a lot. And they all have expiration dates on them, and they all have different expiration dates. So like FanDuel, their bonus bets or their, their opening weekend bonus bets don't expire until like April 9th. DraftKings expires on March 20th. BetMGM expires March 17th. They're all different amounts. Like DraftKings, they gave you what, 4 $25 bonus bets.
Yeah.
BetMGM gave you 4 $50 bonus bets. Did FanDuel break them up, or did they just give you $200 just to use?
So I have $100 and I think I can just use it.
Yeah. So I think FanDuel just gives you the money. So I actually have two. So I had the opening $100, like opening weekend, existing FanDuel customer. Now you're in the sports book. Here's a free $100. And then I also did the promo where if you bet $5, they give you $200. So I got $300 in free bets just from FanDuel, just to start out. And then FanDuel and DraftKings also did what they call no-brainer bets, which is basically like free money, right? So they'll take, for example, they'll take a game like the Bruins, and they'll say, will there be at least one shot on goal in the Bruins game? Obviously, that's going to happen, right? They're not going to play 60 minutes without a shot on goal. I don't think that's ever happened in the history of hockey, because the whole point is to put pucks on net, right? And they'll change the odds to even money, so plus 100, and they'll cap it. They'll give you a max bet. So a max bet of $50. So the most you can win is $50, right? They'll pay you 100, but that's $50 of your money plus the $50 you win. I'm assuming if you've followed us for a while, you understand how sports betting works. So this is probably just boring to you, but for if you're new, that's how sports betting works. When they say they're going to pay you out $100 on even odds, $50 of that was your money already. So you didn't win $100, you won $50.
Speaking of, the Celtics no-brainer bet for tomorrow night is live on FanDuel.
Oh, on FanDuel?
Yep,
all right.
$50.
Because I did the one for DraftKings.
DraftKings has one too?
Yeah.
See, this is what I mean. Is like, this is fucking insane. Like, we're literally texting each other being like, hey, there's another free bet. Hey, there's another free bet. Hey, there's another free bet.
Shout out to Nick too, friend of the show. I've been texting him and he's been texting me too, being like, hey, there's another free bet. There's another bonus bet. Check it out. Like, so it's literally just going on and on and on. So yeah, here we go. For example, right now on FanDuel, the new state special boost, Celtics to score 1 total point or more in the Rockets game tomorrow at even money odds. Maximum bet $50. So again, you bet $50, you win $50. It's quite literally free money. But the whole point behind this, right, is to juice up everybody. There's psychology to it too. If you think that these books aren't fucking really good at what they do, trust me, there's a reason why that they've been successful at doing what they do for so long. And what is it? Is FanDuel Sportsbook the largest domestic sports book?
Yeah.
Or is it Draft? Yeah, FanDuel is, right? I knew one of them was, but let's be real. Like they know what they're doing, right? So there's psychology behind it in that you're constantly winning, right? So the opening weekend, you're just winning, you're getting free money. You're like, oh, this is great. You build up your bankroll maybe to like $300, $400. It's all basically free money, all that shit. And then you make all these bets, and then in the first month, it's all gone. And then what happens? You have to deposit money. And that's when they get you. So like, they don't give a shit. They'll give you they'll give you as much money as they want for as long as they think they need to, so that when it inevitably runs out, you deposit your actual money into the account, and now they have your money and they've just won, right? Like that's what they're doing. But sometimes people don't like to think of it that way. Someone might be like, oh, well, why do you do it then if that's what they do? Because it's fun. You know what? Fuck off. Like, don't be a stick in the mud. I like to bet on sports. Like, is it all going to disappear at some point? I don't know, maybe. But like, hopefully it takes longer than a month, right? Like, ideally, if I build my bankroll and FanDuel up to like $400, I'm also not like a high roll better. I bet 10, 20, 5, 10, $20 an event, depending on what it is, right? Like if it's golf and I'm betting outrights, I'll bet $5. Like if it's most other sports, I usually do 10. And if it's football, that's when I go to 20. So it's like, because obviously I feel more comfortable betting on football because I'm more familiar with it. So it's like, if I can make this money last a few months, sure, whatever. I don't care. Like I'm not in it to retire. Like I don't think I'm going to become like a professional sports bettor. I do it because it's fun and it adds like an extra thrill to the game, right? Like a fucking, I don't know, like I don't give a shit about the Celtics, right? Like I don't watch basketball, but now like, not for this, like a 1+ point total I'm still not going to watch the game. But if they give me like boosted odds on, will Jason Tatum make 3-pointers in the game, right? And they boost those odds and I take it and I bet on it. I might at least watch the first half of the game just to see if he makes 3-pointers. You know what I mean? Like, so it adds a little bit of layer of fun to it. So yeah, anyone that's like, well, why do you do it? Fuck you. Fucking loser, nerd. Have some fun. Live a little. So yeah, I just placed my my free money bet on the Celtics for tomorrow.
I just did. Yeah, I just had to go into DraftKings and like this is the insane part though. It's like but really it's just those two. Like BetMGM gave
they gave you $200 out of the gate. So they gave you 4 $50 free bets. And then I also got 2 $25 insurance bets, which means, so for anyone that's out there that's like, what the fuck does that mean? All it means is they give you $25 and it's called an insurance token. And if you lose, they give you $25 back, right? So you basically can't lose. If you win whatever money you were going to win. And if you lose, you get the $25 back. So it's not quite a free bet, because the free bet, if you lose it, that money's gone, right? And a bet insurance is you can't lose, right? Like at worst, you just get your money back. So
yeah, but it comes back as a bonus bet, so you got to bet it. So that's how they get you,
right? And then that bonus bet expires,
right,
in 5 to 7 days or whatever it is. So yeah, I mean, it seems like FanDuel and DraftKings are kind of going toe to toe on the whole bonus bet stuff, or the free bets and the boosted odds and all that shit. And BetMGM seems to be like, yeah, we're not really going to get engaged in that shit. But BetMGM is also, MGM is a Vegas casino, so that's where they're headquartered. So they might be a little bit more old school in that way. I mean, I don't know what the reason is, but I'm grasping at straws here, right? I'm just trying to explain it. Whereas FanDuel and DraftKings are both kind of like new age. They're all online. They don't have a physical casino, right? Or a Vegas casino, I should say. There are physical books that exist, right? There's one in New Hampshire for DraftKings, but they're not a traditional Las Vegas casino sports book.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to the business model. Business model is just different. Like,
yeah,
if FanDuel and DraftKings are doing all these like promos and all this free shit, it's like that's how they're going to capture the customers.
Right. And they're trying to do what I just explained. They're trying to artificially inflate everyone's bankroll so that they have all this money. And then they inevitably lose all the money because that's what happens. and then they win because then they get your real money when you deposit. Or I'm sure again, this is all calculated risk stuff, right? Like these people aren't stupid, because I'm sure there's also going to be people that do this weekend, and after all this no-brainer stuff ends, probably just cash out and withdraw and say like, hey, I just made $400 in a weekend, and then like never bet on sports ever again. There's at least one.
There's gonna be almost nobody that does.
I know there's almost no one, but there's at least one person that's going to do that. And they're like, fuck it, fine, who cares? Like they don't give a shit about that one person because they're banking on 99% of people not being that person. But I mean, for one weekend's work of not actually working to make $400, it's not bad. Like if you weren't like an actual sports bettor and you were just like a hustler that was trying to just join these apps just to get all this money and then cash out, good on you, I guess. I mean, like I said, you didn't actually work and you made a couple $100 in a weekend. So I will not be doing that.
Nope.
I will be continuing to bet, and hopefully all of this money makes it last. I mean, I couldn't tell you the last time I actually deposited money into my bookie, and I've been using that account for years. If you're still interested, I'm not going to shit on them. They're still a sponsor of the show, but if you want to use the promo code Sarcasm Pod when you sign up at mybookie.com, they will double your first deposit up to $1,000 over there. So, I will not speak ill of them. I was going to make fun of them because they're not a domestic book and we have access to that now, but I shall refrain. Because we do have listeners that are in states that sports betting is not legal. So again, you can still use a Sarcasm Pod at mybookie.com. Yeah, I forgot what I was saying, but I don't remember the last time I deposited in that account. I did pretty well during football season. And I hit a few outrights this year in golf. Like I hit Max Homa as the first round leader at the Genesis. I hit who else did I hit? I hit two other winners. I had 3 bets that won. And I can't remember what they were and who they were.
I think you hit Homa at Torrey Pines.
I did. So I hit Homa at Torrey Pines. And I hit him first round leader at Genesis. And then I hit Scotty Scheffler at the Phoenix
Waste Management.
At the Waste Management. Because in the first 4 weeks of the season, or the first 6 weeks of the 6 weeks of the season, I had 3 wins. So I was flush with units, I should say, on my bookie. And they've been dwindling because I haven't hit a single golf bet since Max Homa, first round leader at the Genesis. So, yeah, I mean, I still have plenty of money in that account. So me personally, and I know we talked about this, I might just withdraw my money. I might make a withdrawal from my bookie. I don't know.
I don't either. I haven't decided what I want to do yet.
Yeah. I mean, it's a couple $100. So
yeah, I know. I just look at it like if I'm not going to use the money for something and I'm just going to put it into another sports book, then I may as well just use it there.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why I don't know what I want to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah, like for me, yeah, I don't know. Like I have like $200 in the account still. So that's like enough money to last me a while, especially now that we're getting to the end of hockey season and I don't really bet on baseball anymore. And like I could not make another deposit and use that money through the end of the year unless I keep using it to bet on golf, which, like I said, now I might not if I can get better odds at the domestics. So it's like, and that's like just enough money. Like $200 is like just enough money to be like, I kind of want that money. Like I would kind of like to have that.
That's my
But
thing, though. I just don't know what I'm going to do with it.
yeah, I mean, I would spend it on something else.
But that's the thing is, like, I don't want to like piss it away for no reason.
Right.
And just to then turn around and have to now deposit
Yeah.
into regulated books.
Right. Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know either. So we'll see. We'll see moving forward. I am definitely flush with units though. For now. It's artificially inflated through FanDuel and DraftKings, but
Well,
we'll
what I was gonna do today was because I bet on Tyrrell Hatton in every major.
Yep.
I was gonna do it through my bookie, but the odds weren't as good.
Yeah.
So
I had previously put in some futures on my bookie too, which is also kind of why I'm leaning towards just withdrawing, because if those hit, they're going to be big hitters anyway. Like so back in like January, it was after Torrey Pines. So, because it was before the Genesis, but it was after Torrey when Max Homa had won. I put in future bets on Max Homa to win the US Open and the PGA. And I think right around the same time, we had texted about Jason Day, and I put a future in on Jason Day at 75-1 to win the Masters, which now he's down to like 33-1.
yeah.
So take that CLV and shove it.
I'm gonna have so much this year.
Yeah.
No, because I got Day 80-1 in the Masters. I've got Homa 34-1 in the US Open. I think Hatton's gonna move, so we'll see where that ends up.
Yeah.
I got Shoffley.
I mean, if he keeps playing well, he will.
I have Shoffley in the Masters. I think that's already moved down a little. I don't know. It just sucks. I'm gonna have all this fucking CLV trophies, and John Rahm's gonna win them all or whatever he's gonna do.
So you know what I did with the exorbitant amount of free money that I got from FanDuel, and because, like I said, typically I only bet $5 on golf outrights because the odds are good enough where, if it's 30-1 and you hit a $5 bet, that's $150. Like that's good enough for me. Again, like I said, I'm not trying to retire off this shit. I'm just trying to have some fun. So beyond that, on FanDuel, I put $20 bets on. I covered the top three. So I put $20 free bets on Scotty Scheffler, John Rahm, and Rory to win the Masters. So I'm covered at the top if either of them win, because at this point it basically seems like, you flip a coin and one of them's going to win, unless John Rahm shits his pants.
Well,
like he did this week. Like quite literally, he shit his pants. He withdrew on Thursday or Friday because of intestinal turmoil.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. He was literally shitting himself on the course. So
intestinal turmoil.
Yeah. So I think it was actually called, I'll tell you where I got that from in a second, but I think it was actually like the code. It was like WD. I think it was like gastrointestinal distress. So GI distress is what he said. Intestinal turmoil I got from years ago with Terry Francona when he was managing the Red Sox. He gave an interview about I forget who the player was, but he said he had to leave the game because of intestinal turmoil. And Felger and Maz ran with it for like a week and a half. Whenever that, I mean, obviously when Tito was the manager here, we're talking like probably 10 years ago. because I was also listening to the Sports Hub religiously. So yeah, ever since then, it's been in my brain to just call it intestinal turmoil. So yeah, I can't confirm Jason Day at 75-1 on my bookie. And then so Max Homa to win the PGA, I got at 43-1. And to win the US Open was 34-1. So those are my three bets that are, my three bets that are still open, right? They're futures for my bookie. So if any of them hit, you're looking at $340+ that Max Homa would be $430. So we'll see. They won't hit and I won't win that money, but
right,
it's there.
Sure is.
Yeah. So like I said, Day is down to 33 at the Masters. I don't know what Homa's at for the other ones, but I guarantee you it's not 34 and 43.
No, I think he's down to like 22, 20.
Yeah.
I had a fucking massive CLV trophy on him last year. I had him in the fucking British Open 200-1.
Wow. Holy shit. That's pretty good.
No, he didn't win. So, I mean, what's it fucking worth?
But 200-1. Yeah. So at the PGA,
I should check those odds.
He's down to 29 on my bookie. So that means the US Open, he's going to be even lower because he was at 34 at the US Open.
He'll be 22.
He's now 22. Yeah. He's at 22. So, what's wild to me? Someone, and I think Ian McMillan, shout out, friend of the show, Bacon Bets podcast. He made this point the other day because I'm looking at the top of this board. It's always Rory and Rahm that are that are 1-2. They're always sub 10-1 odds. So just looking at the US Open, Rory is plus 890 and Rahm is plus 920. And then Scotty is plus 1125. And Ian made this point, like, how? Why is Rory that high when he really hasn't won anything lately?
Rory hasn't done anything this year to give any indication that he deserves to be the second favorite.
Yeah. He is basically the Cowboys in the NFL, right? Like they're always going to get a ridiculous amount of money bet on them. So that's why their odds are always lower.
Right. That's it.
Yeah. Rory is the Dallas Cowboys of the PGA. Or you could say, well, I was going to say the Patriots, but that doesn't fit because when they were doing that, they were actually good and winning. And now they're not that and they suck. So the Cowboys they're not as good as they used to be, but they still get all the money. So I think the Cowboys is a better comparison for Rory. But yeah, like looking at that board, right? The US Open, if you had to pick one of them, how do you not take Scotty at plus 1125?
I don't know. Dude, I don't know why Rory gets the numbers he gets. Well, I mean, okay, I do know.
Yeah.
But the play does not back up.
No, it doesn't. It's all of them. So look at the PGA, Jon Rahm is 10-1, then Rory is 11-1, and Scotty is 12-1. Scotty just won today. He blew everyone out of the water today at the Players. But he's consistently the third guy out of the top three. At the Open, Rory is 8-1, Rahm is 10-1, and Scotty's 14-1. Now that one, maybe I can get a little bit more behind because everyone looks at it like, oh, it's home field advantage for Rory or whatever, like, because it's in fucking Europe, but also fuck off. Let's see what it is for the Masters. Even the Masters.
They're all even, basically.
Yeah, they are, but Scotty is still the third. Jon Rahm is plus 740. Rory is 8-1, so plus 800. And then Scotty is plus 820. So Scotty's still the third guy there. Again, these are all from mybookie.com.
Minwoo Lee, 150 to 1.
Ooh.
Home is 35 to 1 in the open. That's probably what his best odds are right now. That's still my bookie.
Yeah. Yeah, these are all my bookie. Cam Smith is plus 1550 at the Masters.
You can beat that.
Yeah.
I think I saw. Did I see a 20? I might have seen a 20 somewhere.
Yeah, was it BetMGM?
I don't know which one.
Yeah, it's one of them.
That's the hard part now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's which one did I see? Where did I see that? So yeah, we got it. It's here. Mobile betting. Finally, after all this time. So yeah, you got anything you want to run through
I got a couple. So
before we wrap up?
yeah, before we get to wrapping up. So obviously the players just finished today. Timeline doesn't matter. The timeline's irrelevant. We're in the multiverse now.
Yeah. Well, also like there's no good golf now until the Masters anyway. So
Stop.
we can talk about the players.
Stop. There's actually people playing next week. It'll be fine.
What is next week?
The Valspar. Like Justin Thomas is playing, Burns is playing. Like there's some people playing. It's not as bad as the Honda.
Yeah.
No, so this is the no. Okay, so this is the thing.
Isn't there? Is there a goofy event in 2 weeks?
Yeah, the match play.
Yeah, that's what. The match play. That's what it was.
At Austin.
Yeah.
So players just got over. Played at TPC Sawgrass. I'm fucking tangled.
Some would say the fifth major.
Or some would say, actually, I was listening to the Hack It Out guys. One was like, some would call it the sixth after the John Deere. And one of the guys is British. He goes, I'd put it ahead of the PGA. He goes, I don't think the PGA is very good. He goes, I would call the players the fourth. Shitty field for this event. But anyway, strongest field in golf, my ass.
Yeah.
Where would you rate your motivation level to play TPC Sawgrass? Now, you're gonna rate your level. I'm just gonna give some facts of the case.
Right.
I believe it's about $700 to play there. I don't know.
Oh, is it really? It's actually 600. So the running joke on Twitter all week is that's been all the announcers have been saying.
It's 700.
It's 600.
But I think a caddy's required.
Okay, so yeah, it's probably a little bit more. But
I think that's why.
I think the sticker price is 600.
Okay, I think they require a caddy.
Okay,
that's why it's 7. I believe. Yeah. I believe. Yeah.
So people, like I said, people have been doing the shit that we would do on Twitter. Be like, hey, did you know it costs $600 to play at Sawgrass? Because literally every 10 minutes, the announcers were like, can you imagine the public coming here paying $600 just to do, like, they just kept saying it over and over and over again. So yeah, like I said, it's probably 600 just to get there. Like I said, that's the sticker. So if you want to like rent clubs, rent ball, like buy balls, get a caddy, do whatever you got to do, ride in a cart, like do whatever, it's going to be more.
Yeah. Okay. So it starts at 600, could be as much as 840, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So it's very expensive.
Ridiculously. Yes.
But you can play it.
Yep.
You watched today and this weekend. Mm-hmm. Did you notice all the water around?
Yeah, on every hole actually.
Did you notice all the bunkers?
Yeah, everywhere.
And
all around the greens.
Did you notice how like narrow some of those tee shots seem to be?
Yep, and tight some of the fairway landing. Well, I guess technically if you play from the right tees, that's everyone's landing area. But yes,
but some of those bunkers run the entire length.
Right, but I mean the fairways get narrow in the landing areas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have cost, we have difficulty.
Yep.
So where would you rate your motivation level to go play that golf course?
Very low. Also, I'll throw in another factor for you. It's in fucking Jacksonville. Now I know technically it's Pontevedra Beach or Pontevedra, however the fuck you say it.
It's effectively
it's
Jacksonville.
it's Jacksonville, and I've been to Jacksonville before. Uh, it's not worth it.
Well, if you're going, well, this is the thing though. If you're going to Sawgrass, you're not going to Jacksonville. You're
Well, that's
going to
exactly. Yeah,
Sawgrass.
that's fair. Yeah. Yeah, I would say very low. All things considered, it's extremely low. The 14th hole at Sawgrass is the single hardest hole on tour. They flashed a graphic and at one point, I think it was either yesterday or Friday when I was watching. They said the 14th hole and they listed bogeys and then they listed how many total bogeys. This was from 2002 to 2022 till last year. So for a 20-year span, it said whatever the number was for bogeys. And then next to it, it said most. And then it said birdies. And then it listed a number. And then it said fewest. So out of every hole that these guys have played over the last 20 years, the 14th hole at Sawgrass has the most bogeys and the fewest birdies made over 20 years. It's the single hardest hole on tour. Like that's, you can't really debate me on that fact, right? Like, I'm not saying that you will, or you would, but like, that's the statistic, right? Like, that's it. Like, it's the fucking hardest hole that these guys play. I don't really care to play the course that includes the hardest hole that the professionals play on.
Yeah. And I'm also thinking about it. So the 17th hole, frankly, is fucking stupid. Like, that's not a good golf hole. Like, let's fucking not beat around the bush.
It's good for TV, right? It's great.
It's good for viewing. It's good for TV.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It is not a good hole.
No.
There's nothing that good about it, actually.
No. Well, especially now,
someone actually called a fucking stupid hole.
You made this point to Ian on Twitter. When Ian had pointed out, is the 17th hole too easy now? Because this is the first time ever there's been 3 hole-in-ones on that hole in a weekend. I forget what it was. Over the last 15 years, there's been like 17 hole-in-ones or something. And then in one weekend, there's 3. So it's way proportionately, more hole-in-ones now. And you had made the point, like, lengthen it, right? Like, hit a mid-iron.
Oh, I was completely kidding.
But I mean, I don't think it would be a bad idea.
I think it's a terrible idea because it's a fucking dumb hole.
Yeah.
The only way that hole exists is if it exists the way it is.
Yeah.
You can't hit a fucking 7-iron into that green. And then have the drop area be the drop area. You can't do that. That's why it's a stupid hole. No, it's great. Yeah. Again, it's good and it's good entertainment, but I don't want to play it.
Yeah.
Because it really the only motivation to play that hole is because they play it on TV. Like,
right.
That's it.
Right.
But yeah, you can't do more because the tier in it is so severe. So you need to give these guys room. Like, first of all, it's not deep enough for a long iron. It would have to be a bigger green.
Yeah.
And it would have to be deeper and wider if they're gonna move it back. And if all these guys are doing is hitting it to middle, then the hole isn't fun.
Right.
So it's the guys trying to like catch the slope or trying to work it over there. Like that's what makes it interesting. And then they would also probably have to slow it down because it's got to be able to hold the shots.
It would have to be a ridiculously slow green. Yeah.
So no, it is what it is, and it's fine. It's the same thing with 16 at Scottsdale. The hole sucks. The only reason it's cool is because they build up the fucking stands around it. They should just
Right.
leave them there fucking permanently, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because then at least like if you go play it, you're in the atmosphere. Otherwise, it is average. That is
Yeah.
just fucking average. That's
It's
all it is.
it's 130-yard par three.
I don't know what six.
You've played a million of them.
Yeah. So yeah, Sawgrass is. I don't know what the distance is at Scottsdale.
I think it's
But
about 130.
no, I think it's
Well,
further than that because there's nothing there. It's just straight. Like there's nothing
So
there.
on Saturday, I think on Saturday they move it up.
Okay.
This year on Saturday, I think it might have played like 122 or something. It might have been in the 120s. It was very, very short on Saturday. But then I think they move it back for
on the
Sunday.
scorecard. It's 163.
Yeah.
And then they can just move it up, back, down, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, like these aren't like good golf holes. They actually, I think someone was saying it's like Sawgrass is. Some people actually say Sawgrass is like one of the best courses that they play. They go the 17th is just the worst hole on tour. It's useless.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, so coming back to it, my motivation level is very low too, because one seems extremely difficult.
Yes.
I don't want to so I don't want to fly all the way there, spend the money to stay there, spend the money on the tee time just to have to like get my ass
Hold on
kicked.
to your fucking pants. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, shape it this way, shape it that way. Don't hit it too far that way. Hit it on this line. Too much.
Yeah.
If I'm trying to enjoy myself, too much.
Yeah.
Now, if it was a little bit easier, like if we lived in Florida and it's like, okay, you could just drive up, probably be different.
Right.
But like for me to fly down there, stay down there, I don't know what a minimum stay is. It's probably 4 fucking nights. Like motivation level low. Now, if someone wants to organize a trip and invite me, cool. Like we're but we're not talking the golf course. We're talking the trip. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So then
but
that
now
being said,
for the trip, you're bringing Jacksonville into play.
well, they're not if you just stay at their resort, or I don't know if it's a resort.
Yeah.
See, you keep wanting to bring this to Jacksonville. No one's going to Jacksonville. If you're going to Sawgrass, you're not going to Jacksonville. You're flying into Jacksonville, but that's it.
Yeah.
But as far as like the course goes, it only hosts the players. It doesn't host a major. It's also public, so it's like anyone can go play it. Any Joe Smo asshole can play it. There's no views. Now the view of it is nice, but it's not Pebble.
Right.
I'm trying to think.
Kapalua.
Nope, it's not Hawaii. It's not Pebble. It's not anything on the California coast.
For comparison, right? I played Kapalua, obviously, right? You know this. Maybe some of the new listeners, they don't know this, but I played in October when we went on our honeymoon. And so this is actually a better point. So for the tee time, the golf cart, to rent clubs, rent shoes, and a box of balls, and paying to Amy to ride in the cart with me in the round was $450.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
No,
I thought the greens fee was just $450.
No, everything included for me there was $450. Now, if you happen to live in Hawaii and you want to just go play at Kapalua,
$125.
A tee time will cost you $225. That's it. Like that's fine, right? Like Pine Hills in Plymouth. Again, beautiful course. I've never played, but shout out to Mary. She listens to the show. She actually got me a gift card to Pine Hills this year so I can play around. $160.
Play the Nicholas.
The Nicholas. All right. $160, right? So for an extra $65, you can play a Kapalua. Right? So they're like the disparity of Sawgrass being $600, like just to step foot on the property, basically, is like, who the fuck do you think you are?
I think Pebble's $650.
But Pebble, like, I would pay that to play at Pebble. I wouldn't pay that to
Well, I'm
play
going
at.
to.
You're going. Yeah, I know you're going to. Yes, I wouldn't pay 600-700 plus to play at Sawgrass.
I just don't
I
find
mean,
it to be that interesting. Like
yeah,
the players doesn't strike me.
yeah. I
I
mean,
don't
like we
know.
already said, it's a really fucking hard course.
It's
Like I don't
also
want to pay
the
$700 to shoot 140.
it's also the stadium course, and if there's no stadium, what is it?
Yeah, yeah.
Fuck Pete Dye. Shit's too hard. I don't know. I was thinking about that, and then I asked someone, and I was like, "Is it like a guy who's played it a few times?" I was like, "Is it worth it?" He goes, "Absolutely." He goes, He goes, "It is by far the best course I've played." And I'm like, "Okay,
Has he played Kapalua?
probably
Or
not
Pebble? Or
probably not
Pebble?
Kapalua, but he has played." So I don't. Okay, he said it's one of the best courses I've played. He's played Pinehurst. He's played Pebble. I don't know where else besides those, but yeah, I don't know. But my motivation level is just not very high.
No,
Doesn't seem
I agree.
very. I mean, like I would do it. That's the thing is I would do it. I'm just not dying to do it.
Yeah, like you said before, if the situation presents itself
I'll do it.
that it works out, then I would do it. But I'm not going to sit there myself and organize it and
Yeah,
plan it and do a whole thing. And I'm not going to seek it out. If
yeah,
if it was presented to me like, hey, this is an opportunity, would you like to join? Yeah, 100%, I'll go. But like you said, like I'm not gonna be like, I'm gonna take a trip so I can go play there.
yeah.
I'm not gonna go out of my way to do that, like we would for Pinehurst or Pebble or you know, Bethpage Black that we almost did a couple of years ago. You know what I mean? Like I would do that. There's a few courses that I would do that. I would go out of my way to plan a trip to go there to play it to do the whole thing. Um, like you said, Sawgrass isn't one of them. But if someone called me up tomorrow and was like, "Hey, I'm going on a trip to Sawgrass in 2 weeks. You down?" Like, yeah, of course. So, yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah, I was just because again, people seem to get enamored with it. I'm just like, I don't know. Seems fine.
Yeah. Or Wolf Creek, I think would be another one that
So
I would go to.
Wolf Creek is one because I watched the video of a couple of guys playing there. Um, I would have to do some homework before I picked Wolf Creek.
Bandon, obviously, I mean, we've talked about doing Bandon someday eventually, but
Yeah, it's so the thing with Bandon that always gets me though is the 2.5 hours from an airport.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm just again, it's
Yeah.
across the fucking country, and dude, so it's like the Chasing Scratch guys were just there. They go
Yeah.
all the way across the country.
It's a 5 hour flight.
5, if you're
And
lucky.
yeah,
5?
it's like five. It's maybe a little bit more. Was it
Give
five
me
and a
more than
half
that.
to, it was 5.5, I think, to San Diego.
Maybe you caught some. Wait, which way? Home or there?
I don't know. One of the ways it was five
Because I
and
was
a
gonna
half.
say, I think to get to Scottsdale is 6, and you got to
Huh.
keep going.
Yeah.
But coming back from Scottsdale is like 4.5.
So maybe it was on the
Um,
way home from San Diego.
maybe. Um, yeah, because Pebble's gonna be with a layover. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Um, I want to say it was like 8 total.
Yeah. So yeah,
Eight, eight in
say
the
it's a
air
six
time.
hour flight, right? Like say you got to fly 6 hours to get
So
to
to get
fucking
to
Eugene,
Eugene,
Oregon.
Oregon. So
Oregon
if it's 6.5 hours to get there, and 2.5 hours
in a car
in a
after that.
car, where the last hour 45 you can't whatever,
Yeah.
and then you get there and the weather fucking sucks.
Yeah.
It's like I'll play Pebble in the rain. I don't care.
Yeah.
It won't be cold because it'll be June.
Right.
Like coldest you could get would be like fucking 55, and I can do that. That's fine.
Yep.
And it's Pebble. But like, I don't know, man. Like they like you don't get a washout because you're there.
Right.
But I'm like, it should have been a washout. So to go all the way that I don't know. Like Bandon's a hard one for me.
Yeah.
Because there's also like a pecking order here. It's like there's a lot of places that are a lot easier for us to get to and a little bit more predictable.
Right.
I don't know. Bandon's a tough one.
Yeah. Like we could play Pinehurst. We could play Bethpage. Can we get on a
Stream
congressional?
Song? No.
No.
Yeah, but like I mean, so if you just think about what are easy flight, well, I was gonna say Myrtle. Myrtle's not an easy flight because there's no fucking direct flights, but
Yeah.
but like you can do so just on the East Coast, which
There's
is easy
Kiowa,
flights for
right?
us. So you can do Myrtle, you can do Kiowa Island, you can do Hilton Head,
Mhm.
you can do Sea Island, even St. Simon's Island. I think has got some stuff. No PGA Tour courses, but
Right. Right.
Florida, you can do Orlando, you can do Stream Song, you can do West Palm, Fort Lauderdale. Like there's plenty of options just down the East Coast. And we know
Can
what
we
the weather's
play like East Lake or Wilmington,
East
Delaware?
Lake. So East Lake is private. I don't know about Wilmington. Because I don't even know what course that is.
Is it which is Wilmington Country Club?
I don't know. That's a new one, so I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
But like that's the thing is like we like there's so much down the East Coast, which is just so much easier for us
Right. Right.
that it's like I understand like Bandon is like this trip, but I'm just like I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's almost like if we're gonna pass over Scottsdale, why don't we just stop there?
That's true too. If you're gonna go to the West Coast, why not
Scottsdale,
go?
Vegas.
Because you can basically guarantee that it's not going to rain in Scottsdale. You know the weather's going to be fine.
And it's like I know anyone who's been to Bandon, they tell me it's unbelievable. It is unfucking believable. It's like I got it. I just don't want to get there.
Because it is, right? Like that's a really good way to look at it. Call me naive. I never would have even considered that, right? Because you're looking at not only an 8-hour plus travel time to get there, but you're also looking at thousands of dollars to stay there for 4, 5, 6 days. So
Yeah.
it's 8+ hours to get there. Say you spend $2,500 for the 5
So
days.
I'll tell you right now, 4 guys, and it's only going to go up from here. 4 guys for like a 5-day trip is probably going to cost. Now, again, this is the whole foursome. It's probably going to cost somewhere from 16 to 25,000.
Yeah. So you're looking at like closer to $4,000 a person.
Minimum.
So that is a lot, right? So to spend $4,000 to fly for 6 hours, drive in a car for 2.5 hours to get there, for it to rain,
or you get like crazy ass wind.
Yeah, or it's like 30-mile-an-hour wind. That would be absolutely fucking terrible. It is a gamble.
You could spend way less than that. Play some pretty cool places, and it just sucks that we're in Massachusetts. Like that's the shitty part. That's what makes it so fucking hard to get over there.
Yeah. Yeah. Trying to think of like what other. Isn't there one in? Oh yeah, there's Twin Cities, right?
Are you talking TPCs? Or what are you looking at?
I'm just
courses
thinking.
or
I'm
TPCs?
just PGA Tour courses.
Well, I mean, most of them are TPCs.
Yeah.
That are like eligible to be played, like cool ones, or just any of them.
I mean, probably the cooler ones. Like I'm pretty sure like Muirfield is private, right?
Private.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like if it's not a major host, and we have access to it, it's probably a TPC.
Mhm.
Innisbrook would be
Are there
an
any in
outlier.
Pennsylvania? Or no, where's the Poconos? Isn't like the Poconos supposed to have really good golf?
I don't even know. So at the Poconos, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's either like it's where the part where like Pennsylvania meets New York, like Western New
Remember
York.
when Ian was on and we were talking about famous versus good?
Yeah.
This is a little bit of that too, because like TPC Louisiana is a fucking horrible golf course.
Yeah.
But the PGA Tour plays there.
Right. Right.
So it's like, you really want to go to TPC Louisiana? Probably
Yeah,
not.
not particularly.
Like Audubon Park is in New Orleans, or it's just outside. Like that would be like a much cooler place to play.
Yeah.
But like Kiowa, it's a major host. Like that's unique.
Right.
I'm trying to think like where like I think River Highlands is okay. TPC River Highlands, like it's a little unique. Like TPC Boston, they're not there anymore.
Right.
Like TPC Scottsdale would be like a really underwhelming Scottsdale option. And I don't know much about like TPC Las Vegas or TPC Summerlin, but they're definitely not fucking Shadow Creek or Wolf Creek.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So,
You know what place would be
Tahoe.
fucking incredible to go to
Tahoe.
is
We did
no,
this shit
well,
faced in
yes.
Mansfield.
Yeah.
Remember we were shit faced in Mansfield and I kept talking about how I wanted to go to Tahoe?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So yes, Tahoe. Yes, I agree. But you know the other place is the fucking Ozarks that the where Tiger
Oh,
just
Big
built
Cedar
his new
Lodge
course. Yeah.
in
That
Missouri.
I feel like that would be fucking insane. And I
That'd be
also
cool.
feel like it wouldn't be that expensive because it's in fucking Missouri.
Might be hard to get to though.
Yeah, that's
Branson.
true. Yeah, like what do you have to do? Fly into St. Louis and then drive 2
I
hours
don't
to
even know.
Branson?
Couldn't even tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know where Branson is. Like, couldn't even tell you. Like, it might make more
Either.
sense to like fly into Memphis and then drive. You know,
Don't even know.
I have no idea geographically where Branson, Missouri is. Like
No
maybe
idea.
it makes more sense to fly into Tuscaloosa and drive north. Like
Oklahoma.
I have no fucking clue. I have no way. I have no idea how to get there. But
Yeah.
that I feel like that still would be really fucking cool. Because there's what 6 courses there now.
I don't
The
know how many
Tiger
they have, but
Tiger just built his or just opened his, I should
yeah,
say.
Paynes Valley, Ozarks National, those are the two big ones. There was one there too. The Champions Tour was playing there. I don't know what it is. I forget.
Isn't it called like the Bear? Like Jack built a course there. Is it called
Yeah,
the Golden?
I
Is it
just
called the
don't
Golden
know.
Bear course or something?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know Big Cedar Lodge that well.
Yeah. Let me see. I just Googled it. Golf courses. Yeah, Paynes Valley, Ozark National, Buffalo Ridge, Top of the Rock, and then Mountaintop.
Who went there? Someone went there. Foreplay.
Foreplay went there.
They went there.
There was right after it's Tiger's course. It's
Yep.
right after they
played them all,
finished.
I think. I think they played them all.
Because that's the one with the 19th hole, right? It's a waterfall.
Yep,
The waterfall in the
Paynes
background.
Valley.
Yeah. That's Tigers.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one where the tee boxes. Yeah, the match was there, but the tee boxes also are the TW logo, like the balls. Oh wow. Now, I have no idea how much it costs to stay at the resort, but from January to March, which
In
Missouri probably gets cold, huh?
It gets super shitty, dude. Kansas City's in Missouri.
Yeah.
I mean, it snows different there.
March, from the middle of March to the middle of April. And then also from October to December, the resort, if you're a resort guest, it's $250 to play Paynes Valley. If you go in the summertime in peak season, it's $325, which still isn't awful if you're a resort guest. Again, I don't know how much it costs to stay at the resort either, but
that shit's a lot.
Yeah. But if you're a public guest, it's only it's $350.
Yeah, if you can get a time.
Yeah, right. That's during the peak summer season. So yeah, who knows how where it is. Let's say Brandon, Missouri. Is Missouri MO?
Branson.
Branson. Yeah, Missouri's MO. It's right next to Kirbyville.
Oh, good.
Oh,
The fuck is
it is quite literally in the middle of nowhere.
good.
Well,
That's out.
Does Joplin, Missouri have an airport? Because that's the closest major city.
I don't think you can get there from Boston.
You honestly, you might have to fly into Little Rock, Arkansas,
Jesus Christ.
and drive north from Arkansas.
Yeah. See what I mean?
Tulsa, maybe
like
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Some people talk about Stream Song being a pain in the ass because it's an hour and a half south of Orlando, and I'm like, that is not that fucking hard.
So from Tulsa, Oklahoma to Branson, Missouri
We're not fucking doing this.
is 3 hours.
We better get a fucking golf sponsor because I'm not doing these fucking trips. You know, a videographer that'll work for free until we start making money, because that's the only way I'm fucking playing these places.
Is Springfield, Missouri big? Does it? I guess that's not the right question. Does it have an airport?
We're not flying to these places.
Because that's only 45 minutes. If we can fly into Springfield, Missouri, it's 45 minutes from Branson.
Yeah, 3 layovers.
Yeah, to get on a little fucking prop plane. You got to fly to Charlotte, fly from Charlotte to Johnson City, and then get in Johnson City. Yeah, you got to yank the fucking chain. Yeah. So it sounds like it's not easy to get to.
No.
Nope. All right. Then we'll wrap this up.
Yep. So
right,
Friday, Leo had to come to work with me. So the schedule, this is how it was supposed to go. Supposed to have a client at 11:30, a group at 12:30, and a group at 3:15. Now, the reason why Leo coming to work is a thing is because he's a pain in the ass, because he loves people. So he gets very excited to see people and people running around and moving, whatever. He wants to get in on the action. So what makes him so good to have at work is also the problem. He's so friendly that it's a fucking issue. But I can't leave him at home for this one. It's too long to leave him at home. So the only other thing I have going that day is I'm supposed to have tournament signups at 10 a.m. So I'm like, all right, I'll get to the gym a little bit before 10. My client's at 11:30. He'll like get some of it out of his system by 11:30. And there'll be less people there and whatever. Well, she texts me the day before. She goes, hey, can you do 10? I go, I can't do 10. I go, can you do 10:30? She's like, yeah, that works. I'm like, okay. Now I have a half an hour for him to get his energy out. I'm like, all right. So we get in, big group, whatever. He's doing his thing. I sign up for my tournaments because that's massive priority, obviously. So take care of my tournaments, no problem.
That's Tour Greater Boston stuff? Yeah.
So I'm signed up. She's coming in 20 minutes. So he's doing his rounds, seeing whoever, blah, 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 whatever. Adults make their way out. She makes her way in. And he doesn't like being on the sled. So whatever. He's barking, yelling, fucking God knows what. And then in comes a walk-in. Now, the frequency at which we have walk-in people at the gym is infrequently. We probably get like 5 a year. And every time someone walks into the facility, it's at the worst time possible. Either someone's on vacation, or we're doubling up, or I'm the only one working, or I don't know, I'm trying to do my one-on-one session and I've got a dog barking at us.
Yeah. Yep.
So of course, walk in. and I'm handling her while training my person and keeping Leo at bay. It's just fucking chaos. And again, like the last walk-in I had was someone who walked in at 3:30. So I'm in the middle of speed she walks in with her 2 kids. I'm in the middle of speed. So I'm trying to coach the group while also get her stuff. Like, it's just fucking dumb.
Yeah.
But then some people are like, oh, well, you could have like someone like work and whatever. I'm like, dude, we get 5 of these a year.
Yeah.
And the only time these people walk in is when we don't have enough help.
Yeah.
When we have all 4 people there and someone's not doing something, nobody walks in. It's only when we don't have enough help to handle it.
Right.
So we get through that. The girl I was training's cool, so whatever, no problem. So at this point, Leo, he's like free. So there's an adult group, but he's like free and running around. He was doing a little bit better with that, but he had to be tied up because when she's running, he wants to run after her. So it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking at him, whatever. He comes over to me and I look, and when he was on the sled, he had actually started to chew through his harness. So now my group ends at 1:30 and my next group's 3:15. And I'm like, okay, so I have plenty of time, but not really.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, where's like a PetSmart or something? Nowhere close. Like nowhere fucking close.
Of course not.
But there's a bunch of small pet stores around. And I'm like, all right. I already know this is gonna cost me.
Yeah.
Whatever. So I go in, I'm like, do you have harnesses? She goes, yeah. I'm like, what are you looking for? I'm like, do you have the Easy Walk harness? Like simple, easy, whatever. She goes, no, but we have this other thing, the Freedom Fighter, fucking God knows what.
Yeah.
She goes, what size? I'm like, he's 50 pounds. It's like, oh, he's going to be in between. I'm like, I got him in the car. Do you want me to bring him in?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Go get him. And she's like, oh, awfully fluffy. I'm like, yep, he's fluffy. And she's like, oh, like, I think a medium. Stretches it all the way out. Medium doesn't fit. Great. So we throw the large on. Fine. It fits. We're good. He was good in the store. I mean, generally he is, whatever. He was getting tired at this point, but, go up, $36. I'm like, awesome.
Pretty cool.
So Leo, not only did I have to train someone, we had the walk-in, which never happens. Cost me $36 in harnesses because he started to chew through it when I had him attached to the sled. All in all, it went about as well as I'd fucking expect.
How much weight did you have to put on the sled so that he wouldn't pull it?
So now this dog knows nothing about adversity. So the last time I had him there was in August, and an empty sled, he would get like a slight tug and he would just stop.
Oh.
But he got excited. So I had an empty sled with the poles in, and then he like jerked it. And then he goes, oh, this moves now. So I think I only had like 2 plates on there, which is how we leave it anyway. So it's usually like left there like that.
Yeah. So I could just imagine him taking off, actually pulling the sled.
No, so it was the big like Prowler type, like the Perform Better one.
Yeah.
Which alone is 70. So that's the thing. He couldn't run with it, but he could run against it.
Crawl it. Yeah.
Well, no, he couldn't. No, because he would have to like get slack in the leash, run, get pulled, and then that would like move the sled a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, about as good as I thought it would.
Fucking dogs. That's pretty good.
Yeah. The one time I have to bring them.
Yep. Cost you $36.
Yeah. $36 and a lot of fucking headaches.
Yeah.
Like I took Advil like fucking 12 minutes of being there.
Oh, that's pretty good. All right. So my final thought. The other day, I rewatched Black Widow. Well, Amy and I watched it.
As did I.
And it's very good. Like I know it's basically like its own standalone thing. I don't know how many times, this might have only been the second time that I've ever seen it. because when I watched it the first time, I remember liking it. I remember being like, oh yeah, no, it's a good movie. And I don't know if it's because like the recent stuff hasn't been that good, but now that I just watched it again, I think it's pretty good. Like
I mean,
I very much enjoyed it.
I thought the movie itself was fine. I just don't know why it exists.
Yeah.
Like, I think I brought that up a couple episodes ago. I'm like, I don't like it. I don't know. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it doesn't set
I think
anything
that's like
up.
my big question, because the movie was fine. Like it was fine to watch.
Yeah.
Like, it's got some good elements and whatever, but like I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, but why? Because she's gone.
Yeah.
You didn't need to introduce two characters with an entire movie. That could have been
Right.
done very easily. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I didn't like not like the movie. I didn't like sit there, watch it, and realize like, oh, that was a waste of my time. But I did
Right.
like walk away going, why? Like why did they make this?
Yeah.
Now, if you don't ask why, yeah, it was fine.
Yeah. I think it was good. I think it was better than fine. I think it was
Yeah,
good.
I mean, compared, I liked it better than Wakanda Forever in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. I agree. So I also liked it better than Thor Love and Thunder.
Yeah, I think so too. I'd have to rewatch that one, but that was another one that was
That's
like,
another one I've only seen once though.
yeah, I'd have to rewatch that one because I do remember leaving that one being like, again, why?
Yeah.
Like, what did this movie do to advance the series?
Yeah.
But that one
Yeah.
I'd have to rewatch to really formulate that thought.
I've only seen the Eternals once. I've seen Multiverse of Madness, I think twice.
I've seen that twice. I've seen Eternals once. Eternals is clear to me why it existed, but now I'm like,
But they haven't done anything with
what are
it
they
since.
doing with it?
Yeah.
You know what though? It was the same thing with Shang-Chi.
I've seen
That movie,
Shang-Chi
but
probably two or three
that
times at
movie's
this
very
point.
good.
It's the best one that they've made
Yeah.
in this newer crop of movies.
Yeah, so it's not that
Hmm.
one's less of a why does this exist, but it's like what's next, and it's the same thing with Eternals. It's like, okay, what are we doing with this? Like, what are we doing with this info?
Right.
Because like the Celestials could be a very very key thing, but how do they fit in this phase? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So Black Widow is good. That's my final thought.
Stamp of approval.
Yeah. Yep. I enjoyed it. So
Sweet.
that's gonna do it. It's gonna do it for us. Like I said earlier, don't forget to subscribe, like, rate, review wherever you're at. Tell everybody you know about the show. If you're audio only, you can leave us a review on Apple and Spotify. You can get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod. We're on Twitter at Sarcasm_speaks. Facebook page is Sarcasm Speaks. The website is sarcasmspeaks.com. You go to the merch store, buy some merch. We already did the mybookie.com promo, but you can use the same promo code, Sarcasm Pod, at grillyourassoff.com to get 15% off your entire order every single time you check out over there. So whatever you want to buy, whether it's seasonings, barbecue sauces, accoutrements, clothing, whatever you need, they got it. Sarcasm Pod's going to get you 15% off of that order too. So until next time, good night, everybody.